Hey guys, hope you had an awesome week. Welcome to LinkedIn Live on this Thursday, the 3rd of September. We're finally in September and Australian time. The sun is shining outside and I've been out there to enjoy it the last couple of days when I can, where I can. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself wherever you are. Hope you're busy and I hope you're all well no matter where you are. Got John's going to join us on the broadcast very, very soon. And today's topic is rooms for improvement. And I'm really looking forward to this because it's going to piece together probably the last couple of weeks. We covered how to lead your sales team to success and leadership strategies for managers. And today we're going to dive into how you can piece all those pieces of the jigsaw together and actually go and put a plan in place to go and execute against it. So hope you guys are well. As always, I'll keep an eye on the feed on here on LinkedIn. And if you guys are tuning in from YouTube and Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to bring John straight into the broadcast. So just bear with me for a second as we do that. Just jump John straight in here. How are you this evening, live from California, John?
What are you getting at? What are you saying? What's the hidden agenda? What's the bottom line? What are you really trying to say? I mean, what are you saying? I'm ugly or something? I mean, it's not very nice.
I know. Well, I'm wondering how you work for Schwarzkopf all those years because you don't have any hair like me. So how can you sell hair products?
I'm going. I don't have to take that. If my problem gets any worse, I have to carry my dandruff around in my pocket.
You know what? It's actually a very good. It's a good point actually because it actually had nothing to do with selling hair products. It had a lot to do with adding value for customers in other ways. And that's what the whole series has been about. John's been sharing his secrets on how he did that over many years, and he's still doing it today. So don't forget, during the show, I'll put a link across the bottom of the screen there with John's email address. You can reach out to him. But John, what's today's topic about?
It's about looking at the various elements that make up success for a business, not all at once. We have to, just know what they are. They're like vital organs, really. And, you can't deal with all of them at the one time. So the idea is that you know what they are, and then you ask yourself the question, which areas need the most help from us right now? Where are we strong, and where could we be stronger? Not a question of being, where could we be stronger? So that's what we're talk about, and I'll be as brief as I possibly can. And I'm ready when you are.
Okay, guys, so I'm going to disappear off screen. There are a couple of new features with StreamYard where I can pop back in and put myself up in the corner there so you guys can see I'm still here, as I always am. But anyway, I'm going to jump off screen. I'm going to hand it over to John, and hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. And don't forget, if you've got any questions, throw them in the comments. I'll try not to interrupt John during today's show, but I will ask him any of those questions at the end. So I'm going to disappear off screen. Over to you, John.
Thank you, and good afternoon, everyone, or good morning, I should say. I beg your pardon. I'm in Northern California, and we will, if possible, be making our way back to Australia when it's all good and ready for us to do that. But in the meantime, we're in Northern California. It's really very hot here. And but it's a very pleasant area, and I should start the session again by asking the question about our capacity to think on the spot, to be able to see an opportunity and to actually do something about it there. And I'll give you an example, if I may. About 2 years ago, I was on a flight from Sacramento through to Atlanta. And I got on the flight. A lady sat next to me. And out of common courtesy, I said, "Hi, how are you?" She said, "If you must know, I've got a lot of problems right now." Oh, I said, "I'm very sorry. Is there anything that I can do to help you?" She said, "If my psychiatrist can't help me, I doubt whether you can. But out." I said, "Look, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you." She said, "Look, I'm sorry too. I didn't mean to talk like that. I'm sorry about the outburst. I do have problems. Maybe you can help me." I said, "Well, what's the problem?" She said, "The problem is that I have an insatiable desire to make love to certain types of men." I said, "Why is that a problem?" She said, "Because the men that I'm talking about happen to be very, very rare. They are Jewish, cowboys. She said, by the way, my name's Diane. I said, my name's Tex Goldstein. So I hope that gives you an idea of the spontaneity, the way that I can get in and, solve a problem, get to an opportunity and what have you. So there you go. We've been in touch with each other for quite a while now, but let's get on with the show. Let me bring out for you the list of rooms, and Simon is going to be kind enough to put up the titles. So he's put up the main title, which is Rooms for Improvement. And this is all, the title of this, I created this many years ago for Schwarzkopf, just so that we all could be on the same page, so to speak. So Rooms for Improvement, it's like looking at a house, without the roof on, and you look down and you see the various rooms and so forth and so on. In this particular case here, we're looking at the rooms where we have to excel. So I'm going to start going through them with you, and I'll bring this a little closer. I'm not sure if you can see it okay. I hope that's okay. Just put that up a little bit, or down a little bit, I should say. There we go. Okay. So, let's look at the first one. Well, first of all, we've got this side of the coin, which is business development, as we face the market. On the other side is the background of the business. So this is the foreground. This is where we perform. This is the background picture, which is where we get organized and make plans and make things happen and so forth. So the over here on this side, business development, the first thing that we've got to have is a second gap plan. Now, I've spoken about the second gap a few times. I'm not going to go through it in detail this time around. But the second gap, there's two gaps. The first gap is what the market wants, access to products or services. Is there any shortage of products or services? None at all. In fact, it's a very congested market. So we can get involved in being involved in going out and talking to people about our products and services and what have you, but the chances are very high that they will all already have access to the products and services that we sell. So you can't simply go out and copy what other people have done. That's what it appears to the market. It drives them nuts. So the second gap is where you look for and find opportunities to help people to perform at a higher level. I don't mean that you do that in a way that is rude. I'm saying that you have ideas, you've picked up ideas, and you want to share those ideas and help people. Now, if they get ideas from you, if they can get ideas that will concern improved results for them and their customers and for their business, then if you offer them a test period, there's no question in my mind that if it all works as indeed it should, because otherwise the ideas that you get from the marketplace should be proven ideas. Okay, they're not just guesswork and so forth, not simply marketing ideas, they are proven ideas. So the second gap plan is all about helping people with improving performance in the normal areas of buying products and buying services and getting a better result at their end. Okay, so that's the first thing we've got to have. If you haven't got that, unfortunately, and no matter where you go, you're going to be talking about the first gap, and people will be polite, but they're not interested. Next, selling standards. How will we sell the second gap idea that we've got, the second gap plan? How are we going to do it? Very important for us to, first of all, recognize the first gap. As I've gone through before and said, to be able to say to people, look, I'm not wanting to see you in order to replicate what you already have. I assume that you've got good suppliers, good products and services. So I'm not wanting to talk to you about that. I wanted to talk to you about seriously improved results. And I'm sure that's of interest to you. I only need a few minutes to explain it to you. If it is of interest to you, then we can elaborate. And if it seems to you as if it's got some substance to it, then we can do a test. Okay, so you don't have to depart from your current buying arrangements and so forth. And then we'll do the test, and if it proves to be as successful as we believe it is, and indeed we know it can be, then we can go to the testing period, and then after that we can begin to talk about how we can perhaps do business. Now, you take that approach, it's very professional, etc., which takes us to the next point, is the sales and service conduct of salespeople. Very, very important. They've got to be taught how to behave. I don't mean in a childish way. I mean that they've got to understand what constitutes good sales conduct. Now, you can take a salesperson, let's say a guy, and he's a very average performer, and you can invest in a beautiful suit for that guy, nice shirt, nice tie, nice shoes, new haircut, whatever, and he now looks like $1 million. And send him to market, and what's going to happen? The problem's going to be worse, because having looked at him, they are expecting now to be having high-level behavior. You're not going to get it from simply dressing someone or by giving them a different title. Sales and service conduct means helping salespeople to understand how to behave when it comes to the selling side of things, which is selling standards, selling the second gap, and also when it comes to giving service, which is being available to people whenever they need you. If you say you're going to call them back, you call them back. You're a very reliable sort of person. So we've got to help our team here, and I'll show you in a minute how you can do that to have good sales and service conduct. Because without that, you've got nothing. You've got a vehicle with, no tires. Next one is developing regular customers. So our customers that we do business with, there may be some gaps, maybe other suppliers are in there helping them. But the idea is that we must continue to add to their portfolio with us, to give them ideas and so forth. I mentioned, I think it was last week, that the idea is not to keep customers, regular customers. It is to develop them, because if you develop them and they keep getting better results from you, then you will deserve to keep them. Okay, so developing regular customers is not about keeping, it's about developing, helping them, improving their results, which is exactly what the market is concerned about. The market here is facing away from you. All they're concerned about is better results. That's what they're held accountable for and responsible for. Next, winning new customers. Well, obviously, that's a seemingly very difficult challenge, but not if you sell the second plan and have good selling standards and have good conduct, okay? And you have good stories. So again, as I said before, the idea is to be able to contact people and say to them, nothing I have to say will interfere with your current buying arrangements, okay? We do not get in the business of interfering, we're in the business of improving. Okay, so I want to show you some ideas that can produce much better results. And you'll be the judge of that. And if what I say is true, then we can test it. So you don't have to leave your current suppliers in any way. We test it, and then if you find that it's going to be helpful, then I hope we can work together in looking at ways of improving your business, not just with the idea that we have in the first instance, but with other ideas that we've got too. We have a library of success ideas. That's our job in business. It's not simply to have products and services, which is predictable, but also to have ideas that help people to be successful. They don't come to you, you've got to go to them. Finding success stories is relating to what I've just been talking about. Now, how are you supposed to win new customers and develop regular customers if you don't have good success stories? A good success story has 4 elements. Number 1, an excellent result. And we're not talking about the size of a business here. We're talking about the nature of the result, the excellent result that they've achieved. So number 1 is result. Number 2 is motivation. Okay, we've got to get them motivated to want to do this. Number 3 is strategy, helping them to understand how to achieve the better result. And number 4 is just learning from each situation that you get involved in and how to make it even better. So on this side of the sketch here, we've got to make sure that we are rating ourselves in each of these areas. Where do you rate yourself on the second gap plan? Have you got second gap plans, or are you a first gap performer? If you are, there'll be no complaints from anyone, but you're not likely to get much business, and you're not likely to win new customers. Are our selling standards very high? Very high. I don't mean ridiculous. I mean very high level, very professional, as you would expect to find professional. Sales and service conduct should be professional. Developing regular customers with our ideas as well. winning new customers and finding success stories. So it's up to you to rate yourself in these areas and then make a decision. Where are we going to start? And if you need any help with it, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. I've been through this many, many times. And it's not a piece of cake, and neither is it overly difficult. So that's this side, the business development side. Then we come to this side of the business. If you're going to make this happen, then the first thing you have to understand is what I was just talking about, is finding market needs. Whatever weaknesses you can find, then become your strengths. So as I've said before, at Schwarzkopf, we were serving salons, very nice people, hardworking people, artistically inclined people, very good at hairdressing, couldn't be faulted really, but not good at running businesses. And if they're not good at running business, then our business will suffer. So we started to help them with that, but not in a way that was boastful or whatever. We gradually helped them test ideas that would help them to run their salon more effectively in lots of areas. I can't go over them right now. Far more than the areas I've got listed here is to help them to be organized, to help them to have a sense of what they're aiming for, to have a sense of what they can do for their clients, how to do it, etc., etc. We gave them endless amounts of help in learning how to have good selling standards, their own version of the second gap, so they're not asking permission to help people to do things better, but that they, we know what their weaknesses are and we're going to help them. We don't refer to it as weaknesses, but you know what I mean. So that's the first thing you got to do in any market, okay? And from this comes this. We look for and find weaknesses that they have. Second, we're going to hire the right kind of people. Remember, you can't do the right thing with the wrong people, okay? And you know what it's like. People come for an interview and they make out that they really are Mr. or Mrs. Wonderful. I love striving with a team. Oh, I can't sleep if I don't get my target, all that kind of thing. That's great, that's fine. So you say what you want to say, let them say what they want to say, and then say, okay, well, that's the end of our interview. I'm very grateful to have met you. I have a document to give you here, just a one-page document. I have copies of it, by the way. If you want copies, just contact me by email and I will send you a copy of it. You can then amend it to fit with your business, etc. And the idea is that you give them the document, and the document has on it your goals, 3 goals. Number 1 is to satisfy the market, not pacify the market. Number 2 is to have very successful staff, because if you don't have successful staff, you're not going to have successful sales and successful customers. The staff are the main contact with the customers. And then the third point is success for the business. And to do this, we have to have standards. So we've listed those standards on here. And of course, you will be trained in those standards. So you give them the document and say, please read this when you get home. Don't read it now. And if you feel that you're a good fit for all this, just give me a call. And if we agree, we'll go to the second interview. 70 to 80% never call back, which is great, because now we know the people that are not capable, or they don't have the motivation, they couldn't care less, or whatever. But those that are left present us with an opportunity to hire the right people. So if you want that document, it's only one sheet, it's an utterly simple document. I've been using it for many, many years, and it works extremely well, believe me. Training people. Training people means that you've got to have standards, and you train those people on how to use those standards, which also comes into play with sales and service conduct. That's part of their training as well. Okay, we can't allow people to go to market and simply use their own form of dialogue. I'm not talking about normal conversation. I'm talking about how they actually perform when they are helping a customer, meeting a customer for the first time, etc. So training on an ongoing basis. Again, I can help you with that if you'd like me to. And supervision. A part of the training, by the way, is selling them on the selling standards, so that they look at it and say, wow, that's great. I'd love to tell people about that. Just to give you an example of this, I was in a taxi with a guy a couple of years ago. I was just showing some interest. I said, hi, how are things going? How's taxi business? And he said, oh, I've only just got into it, really. He said, I was in sales before this. Oh, I said, how was that? He said, oh, it was hopeless. Everywhere I went, people had the same kind of product, and I couldn't get anywhere. It was a waste of time. They wouldn't insult me, but it was very depressing. So I said, oh, okay. And then I started explaining to him the first gap and the second gap. And he said, no one ever mentioned the second gap to me, ever. As far as I knew, there was only one doorway. And I went through that doorway and got shown the doorway back again very quickly. He said, so I just didn't know that. And I felt very sorry for it, but that's the way it goes. So we've got to train people, and we've got to make sure that we supervise what they do, because that's the problem. And I'll mention this next week, is that because when I started as a rep, no supervision whatsoever, nothing, just left to myself, which is a very dangerous situation. They don't do that in the theatre. They double check on everything that goes on until people have got it right. So we've got to supervise people. That's what I did when I first became a sales manager. I went out with the reps, older people than me, very nice people, well-intentioned, but not well-armed. They had pea shooters. They didn't know how to sell. They had no idea. There was no selling standards. There were no second gap operations, nothing whatsoever. Okay, so supervision is very important. Next, help your sales staff to become self-managers. Give them a tool. I've got the tool. It's a one-page item. Again, I can send it to you if you want it by email. Piece of cake. Very simple. Utterly simple. Takes little or no work. They simply let you know where they need help, and then the manager can simply make their point about where they think that person needs more help. There's no messing around with it. Straightforward. There's no insults. There's no arguments. It's all to do with the future, this week, next month, etc. So self-management tools, very important, and training them on how to use those tools. Okay. Next, sales plans and rewards simply means that we've got a plan for what our sales will be. Everybody does, really, every company does. But don't forget to include potential in all of this, and also the second gap stories that you have. Because if all you do is sell products, you'll get very questionable, low-level sales. But if you are in the business of selling in the second gap, okay, then your sales plans should show that you have potential beyond the sales targets that you're aiming for. And it's very important to sell the team on that, so that they can see not only this area of opportunity, but also more potential. The word potential is built on the word potent, power waiting to be released, great opportunities and so forth. Without that, we're wasting our time. So sales plan is very important for the salespeople in the self-management area, and rewards. Well, I can only speak for myself, but I had a sales team. I had a sales team in Australia, a sales team in New Zealand, and I created reward systems for them that they found to be great. I had to learn to stand out of their way. I don't mean because of greed, but because of need. They had families, mortgages, and they needed all the help they could get. And when I talk about rewards, I'm talking about rewarding them for proactive behavior, which is to do with selling standards and representing our second gap stories very well in the marketplace, which is to do with sales and service conduct. Okay, when we set targets for not just the regular targets up here, but the very high targets on a quarterly and a 6 monthly basis, where they've got to get 40 to 50% over their regular target, and you'd be surprised at how many people can do that. It's amazing, and they need help, they need supervision, they need ideas, and so forth. But nevertheless, when I did it, I had to learn to stand out of their way. They really enjoyed it, and I made absolutely sure with quality factors that they couldn't harm the customer based on their need for better results and rewards. I made sure of that. Okay, so if you want to talk about rewards, just give me a call, email me. I'll give you an example of what we did. The person gets paid, first of all, a salary for what? For turning up? No. For working a certain number of days? No. For making calls on customers? No. But what do they get paid for? Reaching a particular sales target. Not right away, not the first day. We've got to give them some leeway, some time. And also the targets must be based on current levels of contribution. You can't have a target, and if you've got 10 salespeople, divide the target by 10. You've got some people up here, some people are here, some people are down here, some just got started, etc. So the idea is to make sure that your plans are accurate, okay? And then you give them a second plan, which is for the 6 months, the 3 months and 6 months, which is 40 to 50% over their target, and you'd be amazed at how many people can achieve that. So, and by the way, very importantly, the rewards are funded by the higher sales. I checked all that out with our accounting people and what have you, and because some people look at this and go, oh no, we can't afford that. Well, it's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with funding it from the higher sales, okay? Not only the higher sales, but the higher behavior, the higher impact that they have on the market. And then we have to have team meetings of whatever kind you have, whether it's to do with having everybody sat at home on their computer or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is the team meetings should always be interesting. They should not be negative. They shouldn't point to anyone who's got a problem. That's a private thing. The idea of a team meeting is to get people in the right mood, help them to understand about success stories from within the team. You don't have to name individuals, but I think they should know that some people have done remarkably well, and you can explain to them and remind them of what it takes to do particularly well. So a team meeting is all about positive stuff, not negative stuff, okay? And they need that kind of help, and to also give their contribution as well. But you can ask positive questions. What do you see as the opportunities in the next month or so? What do you see as the possible impediments, the things that could hold you back, so that we can talk about that as a team? So it's very important for the boss to be able to talk to the team and to make it positive. And last but not least, customer meetings, which again I have mentioned before. Without that, you're in big trouble. Okay, so because you need customers to talk to informally, briefly, small reward to say thank you, and talk to them about your second gap plans, talk to them about your selling standards, talk to them about sales and service conduct, and talk to them about developing regular customers, include 1 or 2 new customers, explain how you want to win those people, and how we find success stories. Where do you find success stories anyway? You go looking for them. You have what I referred to previously as an ideas bank, okay, which means that you look for customers who have a remarkable level of achievement with 1 or more of your products. And as I said before, what result are they getting? What was their motivation in getting behind the product? What strategies did they use? And what did they learn and what did we learn? So you then, once you study the market and you find not only their weaknesses, but also their needs for further improvement, and you find people who have great levels of improvement. I'll give you an example. I was talking to a guy once I met on a flight, and I was telling him about all this, and he said, oh, that happened to me. What did? He said, well, I was in a pharmacy. Those were my customers, and we were going through the regular products. One of which was a product for women during a time of having a period and so forth, reduction of pain and so forth and so on. And I was just sat in the corner with this lady, very nice lady, going through the need to fill up what they needed for product. And when I got to that particular product, they said, we need far more than that. And they told me how much they needed. And I said, well, wait a minute, that's 3 or 4 times more than you normally have. And she said, yeah, well, we're selling 3 to 4 times more than we normally did. Why? What happened? She said, well, we had a new member of staff start in the pharmacy, and we were going through everything with her. And when we got to this particular kind of product, it was only displayed in a certain area. And she said, you should also display it in the regular area, along with a sign about it, and so forth and so on. She said, we did, and everything changed. Everything, with that particular product just went through the roof. So he then realized he was onto a winner. So he told his customers about it, but it's telling them is not enough. You've got to show them how to do it and keep in touch with them. That's what the word plan means, okay? It's not only outlining an opportunity for them, but explaining to them how you will help them to manage it, to make absolutely sure that the result promised was actually achieved. Okay, so when you have customer meetings, you can tell them about some of the ideas that you found. You can talk to them about your service standards, sales conduct, second gap ideas, and get their feedback. And if they say, fantastic. If they say, why don't you think about doing this or that? Because maybe they can help you. You will learn an enormous amount. And the salespeople who, to some extent, should attend these meetings, okay, so as to find out what the customers think about these things over here, okay? Otherwise, what are we supposed to do? The only thing you've got, if you don't do that, you've got enforcement, management enforcement, but the best thing also is to have customer endorsement. So my reason for wanting to present this to you today, as I said earlier, is to, and I can give you a copy of this, by the way, very simple. I can give you a copy of this particular page here. I'll take a photograph of it and I'll wait for you to get in touch with me, and then I will send it to you. And you can change the wording, you can add to the number of squares, that's up to you. But the idea generally is to see exactly which areas are critical, as I said, like vital organs, and then begin to ask yourself, well, where are we up to with this? Do we actually have a second gap plan or not? Okay, they don't come easy. You've got to look for them. Do we have selling standards to support the second gap? Do we know how to get their attention? Do we know how to build their interest and their desire for what we're talking about, etc.? All of these things here don't come naturally. We have to teach people how to do them. So you can then make the decision, well, we need to do more of this, we need to do more of this, we should do more of this, etc., etc. And this tool, very, very helpful in keeping it in the back room, so to speak, so that you can keep your eyes on the areas of the business that mean the most, and keep your eyes fixed on them, and keep making them better. Don't talk about changing these things. Talk about improving these things. Because if you talk about improvement, you don't have any choice except to change. But if you talk about change, then people go, oh, not again. Okay, so progress is very important. The word progress, the word improvement. So as I said, number one, if you'd like a copy of this, I can send it to you. Piece of cake. My email address will be shown on here. I think it will be anyway. And I've also got a phone number that you can call me on. And if we've got FaceTime or WhatsApp, we can do it that way. It's not going to cost anything. And any thoughts that you have that hopefully you've been taking notes about the second gap and you want more information, no problem at all. What do you mean by selling standards? You know, shouldn't we just leave it to the salespeople? No, we've got to set it for them, okay? And we don't want them to be robotic, but we do want them to know what it takes to gain entry into the market and to actually help people. So all of these areas to me are very important. I hope they are to you. And again, I'll say thank you to the genius, Simon, for having created all of this. 14th episode we've got now. I don't know of anyone ever who's taken this upon themselves to help their fellow business people in the marketplace. So again, Simon, congratulations. And it's a pleasure to work with you. And I know that you feel that there is a negative in there, and you know, that I'm better looking than you, but you know, the point is I can't help that. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, I do apologize. I really do. Do you know that just recently I came second in a George Clooney lookalike contest? Second. How about that? And yeah, I was very pleased about that. The first guy, the guy that won it, was 97, but that doesn't faze me in any way, shape, or form. And the organizers were very kind because they invited the contestants to attend a dinner that night, which was great. And I must say, we both enjoyed it. We really did. So there you go. All the best, Simon. All the best to all the people watching. Hope they enjoyed it.
Yeah. John, I really enjoyed it. And just acknowledge some of the people on LinkedIn Live that have watched it. And I've seen a couple over on YouTube as well. So thanks, Paulo, for joining from Brazil. Thank you, Bill, for watching. Carol, as always. Carol's in Liverpool this week. She's actually on a week off. So thank you for tuning in, Carol. Hope it's nice over there in Liverpool. And thank you, Leonie, too. Leonie's made a great suggestion that perhaps the documents that are on your whiteboard, John, I might be able to put them on a PowerPoint presentation that
absolutely. Indeed, a good idea. Leonie was in touch with me during the last week or so and said she was going to tune in today. A very nice person and a very good manager, I understand. So, and let me also remind you about the books that are available to you. I've only got 6 here. How Sales Makers Win New Customers. They're all free of charge, PDF versions. How Sales Makers Win New Customers, which is down here. Okay. The Ultimate Marketing Challenge to Create and Sell the Third Result, which is all to do with creating the second gap and the selling standards. The Move from Order Taker to Sales Maker, which is all about the fact that we're moving from reactive selling to proactive selling, which is not easy. People need to know how to learn how to do that. That was my first book. Successful Sales Management. So ideas for managers who have salespeople working with them. Helping the Best Get Better, which is a book for managers. It's basically one idea to a page, and it covers marketing, it covers selling, it covers service, it covers leadership, etc., etc. So I would highly recommend that. And then another one here is Sell Pleasure First, Price Last, because that's what people buy, pleasure, okay? And if you're looking at a book, you look for the title first, and then you go to the back and look at the price and the details of the book. But this is what appeals to people. Okay, so that's it from me. Thanks again, Simon, and for everybody else watching, for the 42,000 that watched today.
Yes, 42,000 exactly. So really appreciative of those 42,000. It's amazing. But yeah, John, again, episode 14. Never thought we'd get to this many episodes, and I feel each week, you know, there's just more and more value for everyone here. So again, I appreciate you making this available to my audience as well here on LinkedIn, and particularly to everyone out there at the moment. I mean, you sit back and go, well, you know, I really need to just focus on what I'm doing right now, which is a legitimate thought for many business owners. But don't forget, guys, the opportunities are in the future, and you need to be focused on that as well, making sure that we're all looking to the future and how you can get some of these things in play now that'll have a benefit to your business in the future. And really, that's what this entire show is about, is trying to add some value to everyone, give everyone a different perspective, something to look forward to on a Thursday, and maybe go and try and implement these things during the week. So, John, another great session, and yeah, I particularly enjoyed today.
Thank you. And to the people in South America, te quiero mucho. And thank you for tuning in. Okay.
Thank you, guys. Sorry, go, John.
And did they get my email address and everything? Oh, there it is. There it is. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. So, guys, don't forget. I'll throw this in at the end. Please don't forget, if you want to get in contact directly with John, he is available, info@johnlees.com.au. If you want a PDF copy of those books that he's making available for free for you guys.
Do you want me to put the email address on the board here?
If you want to do that, go for it.
Okay.
And while John's doing that, yeah, John's also available for anyone else out there who wants to, you know, engage John for the services that he offers in terms of sales and marketing and customer service, the exact things we're teaching here. Imagine what John could do for your team if you hired him and used him internally for your own team. So info@johnlees.com.au, and yeah, get in touch with John and say hello. And John, what I might do is, just to let everyone know, is I'll get you to send me a photo of the whiteboard, and I'll post it in the comments, guys. So if you've watched the show, if John sends me that photo, I'll post it in the comments so you can see that.
Okay. Great.
And we'll see you guys next Thursday. Have a great week wherever you are. We're 2 days away from the weekend, and I know for everyone who's having a tough time of it, you know, the sun's shining outside here in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, and I hope wherever you are, you can get outdoors and enjoy some sunshine of some sort over the next few days. In the meantime, John and I will see you again next Thursday at 11 a.m. Sydney time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.